recording. Okay then. So as I said, the important thing, this is part 4 of the process to teach in the USA through Baker Street and GEC, our friends in Tennessee. And the important thing, obviously, is that the program will go ahead. We're just waiting to see what's going to happen as regards COVID, when schools are going to open, and so on. At this stage, if you are still in the program, you should have received this email. Now, this email should reach you, and it has 7 different points in it, 7 different points, which are very important. It will say something like this: we are still processing applications for the upcoming school season starting in August. Obviously, that might start further on. The exchange visitor programs are still supported by the US government, and we do not expect a cancellation. You may have seen that recently Trump was saying, nobody's coming in, all immigration visas are going to be stopped. He was talking about immigration processes, green card, and so on. This program is the J1 Educational Exchange Visitor Program, so it is not affected. We are obviously, we have people in the United States who are trying to make sure this is still the case. 2, there might be some delay in starting matching teachers because of the lockdown in many countries as well as in many states. Obviously, nobody's going to go until it's absolutely safe. Nobody's expecting you to go until it's absolutely safe as well. That's very important. So we plan to activate the MyGEC, which is the online recruiting platform, by May the 15th. In the meantime, do not mail your documents, please. Do not mail your documents. You will receive an email to tell you exactly when you have to upload the documents. You will also need to obtain this document, police clearance that certifies you are clear of any criminal record in English. I will explain this in a minute. Point 4, they say, make sure you have enough funds before you come to the USA. You will need money for housing, transport, food, and licenses. You should have $2,000. So that's about 1,400 euros. That's the money you would need to get you through the first month, probably. Remember, you want to buy your mobile telephone, your internet connection, whatever you're going to need there. They're talking about $2,000. So the program does not advance any money to you before you arrive. Also, try to get a driving license if you don't have one. So it's a good idea. I'm not sure of the situation right now, but if you are able to, invest some time and money right now to get a driving license before you go, then I think that would be a very good idea. Number 6, now this is more important. You have to get ready for the state teaching certificate exams. You have to pass these exams in order to start teaching at your school. Now, these exams, it's nothing like an opposition, okay? Nothing like this. You do not have to do the exam yet. The kind of exam they're talking about is a general exam which is organized by an organization called ETS. You can see it here, and it's called a praxis test. Okay, you should go onto that link and look for the exams for teachers who are going to teach particular subjects in the United States. Okay, each state has its own requirements. We will talk about them in a minute. You should not take these tests yet, but you should start to look at them, and you will see how easy they are. Obviously, today, one of the great advantages of looking and doing exams online anyway is that you can access a lot of material online, and it's free and past papers. Okay. With the teaching certificate exam, remember, you will be looking at an exam or a practice test which is appropriate to your level. So that would mean if it is kindergarten, elementary or primary school, Or if it's secondary school, it would be one particular subject, the subject which you are going to teach. So when you go on to practice, you can see the different places and the different levels. Obviously, you don't know which state you're going to be working in, but we do know it's going to be one of the southern states. So you can look at Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Louisiana, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, West Virginia, Kentucky, Georgia. Okay, so if you look at those states more or less, there won't be much difference as to the kind of exam. And I can tell you the exams are not very difficult. Okay, they're not very difficult. The longest one is about, I believe it's about 3 hours. Okay, because it is a test, as you know, a 3-hour test with lots and lots of questions, might be 60 questions or 70 questions. You do have to have the practice of doing lots of tests. So when that moment comes, we'll have another webinar and we'll look at where you can access some practice tests and where you can get that exam practice. I think that's the most important thing. Okay. Number 7, you get your credential evaluation report. So you have to have, remember, if you're going to work as a teacher in the United States, you must have a degree which is equivalent to a US bachelor's degree, which is a normal university degree, in either education or the academic subject field in which you intend to teach, which means you either have a degree in magisterio or you have a degree in history, mathematics, physics, IT, psychology, or whatever, or Spanish, of course, whichever that subject is you want to teach. To prove this equivalency, which would be the equivalent in Spain of a convalidación, you must obtain a course-by-course report from a registered credential evaluation services company. This is very easy, it's quick, you do not have to do it now. Okay, you do not have to do it now. But I want you to look at the process to be ready, because in case you have to request documents from your university, then I think you should do it now. It might be difficult because some of the universities are closed. I will answer your questions at the end of the session. I will answer them all together because in the next part of the presentation, we're going to be looking at a number of these points in detail. Okay, so we'll go with the easy parts. Remember, most of the documents you're going to send will be by email, which is fine for the credential evaluation report. So you do need to ask for a digital copy. That's a digital copy, as well as a paper copy. That's very easy. Okay? Everything is very easy, I'm telling you. Obviously, the only difficult thing is when we have doubts. When everything's simple, it's very easy. So the first thing you need is the police clearance. The police clearance, which is what you call the Certificado de Antecedentes Penales, with its apostilla. This is very easy to get. You can either go to the Subdelegación del Ministerio de Justicia in your province, or you can do it online if you have a digital certificate or you have a digital DNI. So here are the instructions. It's a very, very cheap, it's very cheap, €3.90, I think it costs. If you do it online, that's fine. If you do it at a police station, that is also fine. So don't worry. So that's the easiest thing to get. Don't do it immediately, because normally this document is valid for 3 months. So I think you can wait until you are actually asked for this. But have a look online just to make sure you can get it. I know that in Spain, you are asked for a certificate of penados sexuales or the delitos sexuales, to work with children. That is not the document you're being asked for. The document you're being asked for is the Certificado de Antecedentes Penales, or we should say the Certificado de No Antecedentes Penales, please. Okay? We ask for the apostilla because the apostille is the version in English of the same document. It's actually just saying this is a registered signature, okay, and that is therefore internationally recognized. You would still need a translation. I will translate this document for you if you need it. It will cost you about 12 euros. I mean, nothing. But if you have somebody else to do it, that's fine as well. Okay. We then have the state teaching exams, and this is what we talked about, the practice exam, okay? So this is the web page. I'm not going to go onto the web page now, but you can go on later on. This is the web page. You'd have a look here, and you have 3 different tabs at the top. For test takers, institutions, or states and agencies, you're going to go to test takers, okay? You've got the ETS. ETS is a private company which also does, I think it's the TOEIC and a couple of other English exams. They have many, many different kinds of exams. So you have to make sure you go to praxis. Okay? And it says here below, as we can see just here, if you just allow me, okay? It says down here, the praxis tests measure the academic skills and subject-specific content knowledge needed for teaching. Okay? Then you can see information about, when you can do the tests and where you can do the tests. What I have done here is to have a look. Okay, I've had a look here. And it says, okay, down here at the bottom, I have said, okay, well, let's look at, for example, at Tennessee, okay? Find out which tests are required for teacher licensure in your state, territory, or organization. I said Tennessee, I could have said Texas, I could have said Florida, or anything else, okay? When you go here, you will see lots of links on the page, like here, where it's saying, okay, the official practice test prep. So of course they say, yeah, you can do the test, but we can also sell you some practice tests. That's up to you. Maybe it might be a good idea as a group of people, if we see that it's the same practice test, maybe we could buy them together and make some PDF copies. Yeah, no need. I'm not asking you to pay any money. We can also see here the Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a free online platform which does courses on many, many things. That they also have some information and some preparation for this. So 3 things there. Look at the kind of exam. Look at Khan Academy, the practice preparation, and look at a particular state, as I say, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, or so on. You will know which one to do when you are offered a job, of course. Do not do it until you are offered a job, please. Right. So we go on and see, okay, if we clicked on that link for Tennessee, this is the link here, it would say teaching and leading in Tennessee. So we've got 2 kinds of tests. The practice tests allow Tennessee educators to demonstrate their knowledge of content, pedagogy, and instructional skills for the classroom. These tests are important components of Tennessee's licensure process and include the core academic skills for educators. Okay, this is for candidates entering an educator preparation program. So this is for people who are going to study education in Tennessee. So this is not required for you because you are already qualified teachers. Now, what we do need to do, so what you yes, will be the praxis subject assessment, which is what we're looking at here. Praxis subject assessments. And this measures your general and subject specific content knowledge. This is the important one. So for you, it's just one. And right here, I have got a link, which again, you can look at later on, which is a link, for example, if you're going to speak Spanish, if you're going to teach Spanish, then you would go on to this link, which is for Spanish language teachers. I believe for Spanish language teachers, the exam is like 2 hours or 2.5 hours. Should be very easy for you, of course. And then it's also got the fees. How much does this cost you? About $160. Okay, about $160. Obviously, if we come to the point where you are going to spend $160, then we want to make sure this is when you already have a job offer. Okay, very important. This is when you have your job offer. So that's your teaching exam. Now is the time with your teaching exam to start looking online. Okay, start looking at the kind of test which would be needed for your level, if it's kindergarten, or if it's primary school, or for your subject, if it's Spanish language, English language, mathematics, PE, or history, or whatever it is you're going to do. And make sure that you have a look. It's going to be very, very good practice for you. What we will do is, I promise, as soon as we've gone past the next step, which is when you start to upload your documents on the MyGCE website, on the platform, then after that we will try to pool and share our knowledge about the state teaching exams. I assure you they're not difficult. Okay, the next one is the credential evaluation report, and this is the one I said was similar. Somehow it is similar to the convalidación, acreditación, okay, which, for example, if you wanted to go to work in the United Kingdom, this is called the QTS. And what we would do in the United Kingdom is ask for a copy of your degree and a copy of the subject, so that's expediente académica, and a copy of your police certificate and passport. We scan them, we send them with a translation to the United Kingdom, and in 2 weeks they send you your QTS certificate, which means you can work as a teacher in the United Kingdom. So it's a very, very simple process. In the United States, it's very simple as well. But in the United States, it is always a private agency which does this for you. So GEC recommends ECE. There's the website, because they have 40 years of experience, quality service, and reasonable pricing. Okay. Pricing again is about $160 in total. So you can find all the details, instructions, guides, videos, country-specific document requirements, and so on their web page. And their web page looks something like this. In fact, it looks exactly like this, as you can see. Okay, so very, very easy. You would go onto the web page and you would click on individual applicants. Okay, because I am an individual and I want to have my education recognized in the United States. So what they would do is, when you send them your documents, they will issue a report which looks like this, which says course by course evaluation report. And this is then sent to the school and to the state where you're going to work, and they say, ah, yes, well, this fellow, Mr. Applicant, you know, studied in India at such and such a university, and this is the exact equivalency of his degree, which was 3 years, Bachelor of Commerce in the United States. Okay. In your case, you will be asked for your university evaluation, not high school. You'll see when you go onto the website that you do have different options, but yours is for the university credentials, obviously. Okay, if you wanted to go and study at university, then you'd be asked for your high school credentials, but you don't need those now. So this is what it looks like. How do you get them? Well, what we're going to ask for is the option which says course by course. And basically it looks at your expediente académico, number of credits, the score if you've got notable or sobresaliente or aprobado, and it creates a numerical equivalent and says, ah, yes, this is equivalent to the United States degree in fine arts or in physical education or in sports medicine or whatever it is. Okay, so quite easy and quite clear for you. Now, if you go on the website, if you go on the ECE website, which I told you about before, this will show for Spain what the documents which you need to send. Okay, and it says there for Spain. All right, here we go. Required documents: título, grado, diploma, degree, licenciatura, you know, whatever it is. Okay, and it says type of document, how to send it, and it says you send a photocopy or a scan of both sides of the document. You know what your degree certificate looks like. On the one side, the Marucha's coming in. Okay, so on the one side of your document it says, you know, Rey Juan Carlos, en su nombre, rector de la Universidad de Las Palmas, you know, whatever, confirme que Mr. Ismael Martín ha superado en esta fecha los estudios conducientes a whatever. So basically it's that. On the other side, it just says some numbers and some other little thing, okay? So we want that, a photocopy or scan, really good photocopy, sorry, really good scan quality, right? Every single word and letter must be very, very clear. So you practice and get the maximum quality. Okay, the other one is the Certificación Académica Personal or the European Diploma Supplement. Obviously, if you have the European Diploma Supplement, I think it's called something else, Suplemento Europeo, something, where the European version is in English and in Spanish. That's very good because it means you do not need to translate it. Okay. If it's going to be the Certificación Académica Personal and it's in Spanish, you will need to translate it as well. So one of the two. Now, you can approach your institution if your university can send you an electronic version which can be validated with a CSV, you know, it's like a firma electrónica, okay, then that is perfect. If not, you must get an official copy, okay, so una copia original firmado y sellado por la universidad o una copia compulsada por la universidad, right? No por notario. So that is a university verified document or the official, the original document. You have to look at the prices. It might be cheaper. It might be cheaper to get, you know, another copy. It might be cheaper to have the electronic copy, you ask your university to see if you can access these things online and see whichever is cheaper. But it does say here, the official document, we see down here, sorry to do this to you, but it does say here, the official document issued in a sealed envelope. Oh my God, this is too much. Okay, so this means that the document, if it's not an electronic document, the official document has to go in an envelope, which is closed. And where you close the document, the university has to sign it and put a stamp on it. Okay, so it becomes a little bit more complex. These documents are not returned to you. They are not returned to you once they have been evaluated. And that's very important. Okay. So basically it's the degree and then the expediente or the European diploma supplement if you can get that. Okay. 2 documents. All right. Additional information. If you have a master's degree or a doctoral degree, then you would not have an expediente. You would not have the personal academic certification. In this case, you would have to send official degree confirmation, which is an official letter from your university confirming that you have finished, and of course, in an envelope. Okay, so that is not the electronic format. Okay, the language of the documents. You must send English translations for all the documents issued in a foreign language. The translations can be submitted by mail, by post, or by email. You can do the translations yourself, but the format must be exactly the same. The format on the page must be exactly the same. Okay, and it must be complete. The original document can be mailed to ECE by the applicant. That means by post. And obviously it would be an official document with a seal and a signature. Okay, we cannot accept photocopies, notarized copies, scans, or faxes. These are not original documents. So for example, if you live in Zaragoza, but you studied in Malaga, you have to contact your university in Malaga to make sure that they will send you original documents. As we saw before, the exact explanation of what an original document is. Okay. Original documents will be returned with the completed evaluation report. ECE does not return documents issued in a sealed envelope. Don't worry about these. Don't worry about this. What I'm saying, do not send your degree certificate. Okay? Do not send your degree certificate, because earlier it said to us that a photocopy or a scan is perfectly okay. The one they want, the official document, is the transcript. It's the transcript. And I know that you can get more than one copy of the transcript. I know it's more difficult to get an extra copy of your degree. So don't send your degree. A photocopy or scan is okay. So remember when we're talking about original documents. Okay, photocopies, okay, must be issued in a sealed envelope. Again, I said that's in the envelope, which is closed, which has got a stamp and the university signature. Okay, these can be sent to ECE by the university, or they can be sent by you. My advice would be send it yourself. Okay, send it yourself. And basically anything you send, you know, you might get it back, but you might not. Okay, you might not. So don't send anything. Don't send your passport, for example. Okay, you know, send a copy of your passport when you have to send things. Okay. As far as translations, well, this is the format, for example, for a pharmacy degree. It's not very difficult. Must be complete. When you need this, you let me know. I'll give you an idea of price. If you wanted to translate the certificado de penales, that would be about 12 euros. Okay? I'm telling you my price, right? But you ask anybody, I don't really mind. About 12 euros. You want to translate your degree, 15. You want to translate your certificación académica, maximum 25. Maximum 25. Because some of them are like 4 pages or 5 pages, but normally it's like 2 pages, so it's not a lot. So the maximum amount of money you'd be looking at there would be 25 plus 15 plus 12, maybe 52 euros. Maybe that has to be sent to you, so it's another 5. But, you know, more than 70 euros, I'm just saying, I think would be excessive. Okay? So that's the kind of budget you should be thinking about. Remember, if you want me or one of my colleagues to do a translation for you, I can do that. And of course, you can have all the copies you need. You can have a PDF copy so that you can send that to whoever you like, whenever you like. Okay? So basically, you have to think about the 3 things here. Just a second. Basically, 3 things here. First of all, the police certificate, very easy, very cheap. Second, start looking at the exam. Start looking at the exam. Look at the exam material, depending on your level, depending on your subject. And third, look at the ECE website and start looking at the documents. Just make sure you have your degree and your academic certificate or your expediente académico. Don't translate yet. Don't do it. You don't need it. Okay? Okay. And that is the end, actually, of it. Let's just see if we have any questions here. Okay. Okay. Mr. T, thank you, Mr. T. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go through some of these questions, please. Just 1 second. Right. Do the test have any cost? Yes. Well, the test would cost, the actual exam, when you do it, will cost about $160, depending on the subject. Some of them change. Okay, so about $160. Right. The ECE process costs about $160. Okay, but what we are saying, don't do the test, don't go to ECE, but learn the process now in case you need to do it in the future. Okay, the second question is, I didn't get the email nor the call from the US. Does this mean I'm not in the process? Somebody asked me. The name is Galaxy Tab. Galaxy is a nice name. Okay, Galaxy, send me an email, please. Send me a personal email, because I have been away from the office and Christina, my colleague, is not working at the moment. There are many emails I have not seen. Okay. Carlos says, hi, what if you have already done the practice in one of the states? Is it required again? Depends on the state. This means that if you have done the exam and that same exam is required in a different state, then I imagine you would not have to do it again. Then I hope you will not have to do it again. We will ask. Okay. However, some states have different exams, particularly Texas has a slightly different process. So they have their own exam. Okay. Maria Jose says, I also have QTS. Shall I send it in? No, do not. Okay? Do not complicate the process. Don't send anything more than you need. If they need anything else from you, they will ask. But at the moment, they're just asking for the 2 documents. This means it's a basic cut-off baseline equivalency. We do not need any more. It will not make you any more of a good or bad applicant. Okay. For la convalidación del QTS, piden también el CAP or el, all right. Okay. Yeah, not in the United States. Not in the United States. Okay. Not in the United States. They are asking you for a degree in the subject you want to teach. So if you have a degree, a master's in linguistics applied to Spanish, teaching Spanish as a foreign language, then we hope that would equip you to teach Spanish. You do not need a teaching degree then. Okay. Thomas, so the answer is yes, please continue. And Marina too, if you haven't received, well, let's go back, let's revisit this process and see how far we can go. All right. So do we need to do the exam and the convalidation? Yes, indeed. You have to do the credential report and you have to do the praxis exam, both parts. So one is the state teaching exam and one is the academic subject report. This is it's the same for other professions as well, for doctors, for nurses, for pharmacists. So one, you send your documents so that they are recognized that you have done a similar level of education, and then you do the exam to demonstrate that you know about the system. This does mean you might have to study a little bit about the United States, about teaching in the United States. I don't know. It might say something about the Constitution. It might say something about, it might include questions about segregation. You know, when did segregation finish? I don't really know, but that's why it's interesting to have a look. Okay. So that's everything for the moment. I will post this and I will send you a copy of this. I will send it to you all, okay? Everybody who's on the mailing list. Now, for the moment, does anybody have any questions? If you do, please turn on your microphone and speak. Anybody want to talk? We have another question here. Okay. Very good. So if I want to teach a dual program, Spanish and social studies or history, what type of exam should I do? Well, I think you would, Manuel, then you would, if I'm going to teach 2 different subjects, I think you would have to think, what is my strongest subject? Okay, because it's very common for people to teach 2 subjects in America. So you think, well, the easiest one for me will be to do the Spanish one, of course. So I will be recognized primarily as a Spanish teacher. But once I have my licensure, then I do have the possibility to do the other exam as well if I need to. But I'm getting in as one kind of teacher to begin with. Okay, so I would say, unless they specifically say you must do 2 exams, with 1 exam would be enough. Okay. Any more? Oh, no, it's just cheers. All right, cheers to you too. Good, excellent. Okay, so if there are no other questions, we'll stop now. So I'm going to ask you then, look at 2 different things. If we go back, I think we just want to look at these 2 pages. First of all, ets.org/praxis. Have a look. Okay, Praxis for Teachers. Look at some of the practice tests, Khan Academy, YouTube, look for Praxis, Moodle, Praxis. Okay, there's a lot of online resources. So ets.org/praxis. And then look at ece.org/praxis. for individual applicants. And there's a couple of videos, and that will tell you the kind of things you need to do and the presentation you need to do it. Okay? So it all works very well and quite easy. My colleague Chem will tell me exactly when he opens the platform. And of course, remember, if you go through the process this year, then your documents, at least, your application will be valid for this year. And for next year, if you decide to delay and postpone, then you're welcome to do it. Nobody is going to force you to go, all right? So if you can't go or you don't want to go because you're worried about coronavirus or anything like that, don't worry about it. Nobody will say, there's no problem at all, okay? All right, so no more questions. I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, one more question, I'm sorry. Okay, it says, have you talked about Corona? Gosh, yeah, I talked about Corona. I wish I didn't have to, of course. I can't really, the situation as far as the coronavirus right now is, for the next 2 months, nobody's going to the United States on this kind of program. So that's May and June. After that, we have to see how the situation develops and the kind of delay. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Obviously, there will be a moment when you say, okay, I will wait until January. January is reasonable, for example, for you. Or maybe it's say, no, I will only wait until October. That is your personal decision. And of course, your personal decision is going to be influenced by the conditions both in Spain, EU, and the United States, okay? So nobody will force you to go. All right, so for the moment, what you have to do is look at ECE, look at ets.org, keep yourself very safe, okay? When should we prepare the ECE course-by-course documents? After the platform opens, okay? So once you have already sent some of the documents to the platform, which will be in about 2 weeks from now, after that, wait until you get a response from GCE, from Chem or from myself, telling you it is now time to prepare these documents. Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much. Oh, then of course, well, it's the name of it's in the email, which is called My GEC. Okay, the platform is My GEC. Okay, but don't worry, you will receive a personal activation code and access to this, and you have to set a password. So you do not have to do anything at the moment. Okay. What happened with the decision not to issue immigrant visas? Well, the immigrant visas, which they were normally talking about green card permits, actually, this does not apply to ours because it is a J1 educational exchange program. It's not an immigration visa. And that's very important. Okay, My GEC. Yeah, you will get the link. When you get the link, you'll see it, and it's quite easy to follow. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to count down again from 5 to 1. Oh, there's another question. Okay, 5 to 1. Okay, thank you very much, Maruchitu. Thank you all for coming along. So I'm going to count down from 5 to 1, and then I will say goodbye. Thank you very much. Any questions, you let me know. When can we find out if there's a district that wants to hire us? I believe this would be at the end of May, from the end of May, okay? From the end of May. So I will send you this document and the link to the YouTube link where this is going to be published in a few minutes from now. Okay, so we'll do it again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy yourselves. And thank you very much for coming. Okay, best of luck. Good. All right.